Hope you can see my screen. So
Okay.
now we have covered in our previous session what is a user story, epic, everything, and how to write a user story with an example, how to write an acceptance criteria with an example. I have told very clearly. Now I mentioned one particular point that an user story should be as much small as possible, right? To fit within one sprint. For that, we need to split the user stories in such a way that your user stories are vertically sliced. Okay, let me explain like what is that slicing everything. So you would have tasted a cake, right? So consider a cake with multiple layers like this, whatever mentioned here. Okay. See, if you are going to eat this layer by layer, then that is going to be like different, right? For you. And how we generally cut a cake. For example, you are cutting a cake for a birthday, then you will be cutting the cake vertically, right? From top to bottom, correct?
Yes.
Why? Because then only you will be able to get that entire taste, right? That means
Entire taste.
all the layers taste you will be able to get. In the
Yes.
same way, we need to divide the user stories also. That means we need to slice the user stories vertically and not horizontally. Because some people will be in future, like you're a Scrum Master, your product owner or your team may be slicing the user stories horizontally instead of vertically. Then as a Scrum Master, you need to correct that. We need to always slice a user story vertically. Okay. And you can see this diagram also. The reason why I am telling like we need to slice this user stories vertically is if you are vertically slicing your stories, then only you will be able to get a done product increment. What is a done increment means? You'll be getting an entire functionality completed. You can see this diagram. See, to complete a user story, as I mentioned, there may be a web UI, that means front end, back end, a data layer, and a middleware, right? So if
Yes.
you're going to develop, see, some teams as an agile anti-pattern, what they used to do is they will have one user story to create web UI, and then
Okay.
one story to create middleware, and one to
Middleware.
create data layer. If we are
Data.
having user stories in that way, will you get a entire functionality delivered? No, right? You cannot get,
No.
correct?
Yeah.
Oh, that is the reason why always we need to have in this way. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can see, if you're going to have like one user story separately for these layers, it's not you will not get a done increment, right? So in technical, if I want to tell an agile term, potentially shippable increment, you will not be getting. So that is the reason why always you need to remember that all the layers you need to slice the user story in such a way that if that user story is completed, you should be able to get a product increment immediately. See here, this each user story, that means here they have mentioned 3 user stories, which we already discussed in our previous example, right? Pay,
Yeah.
pay order with PayPal, pay order with
Yes.
credit card, and pay order manually. You can even have a
Manually.
cash on delivery, right? You can even
Yes.
have.
Yes.
So if you are going to develop these separately, that means web UI separately, middleware separately, data layer separately, will you get a functional piece? You will not get, right? You will not get a complete
Yes.
deliverable. So that is why you need to divide this in 3 in this way so that, see, pay order with credit card. In this user story itself, you will be doing work in web UI, middleware, data layer, all the 3. And once all the 3 are done, then this entire then the user will be able to pay the order with the credit card, right?
Yes.
So a complete functionality has been done. In the same way for pay order with PayPal and pay order manually. So this is known as vertical slicing of user stories, and